When it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles cap space, we still got a lot of room to make some deals. So far, the Eagles been through the first round of free agency, done. The draft, done. Undrafted free agent signings, done. And now, right before we kick off OTAs, virtual OTAs, we have an interesting part of the offseason. It's the second round of free agency, where guys who should have been picked up for some reason didn't get picked up. So wherever their asking price is, has to come down. Why are these guys still here? And that brings us to an interesting topic today. The Eagles reportedly show interest in Jadeveon Clowney. Will he lower his price, and will the Eagles put him on the roster? What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you are new to the channel and love talking Philly sports every single day, hit that subscribe button. Now, if you feel like the defense could use a piece or two added with this extra cap space, smash that like button. And oh, by the way, it helps this content and pushes it out to other Philly fans. With all that being said, let's jump into today's topic. The Philadelphia Eagles, and more importantly, Howie Roseman, continue to stay busy by showing interest in a lot of free agents. We already talked about Jason Peters possibly coming back, reports on that. Reports on Nigel Bradham possibly, although I do think them reports are starting to fade away because of the disconnect that Nigel Bradham and the coaching staff has. We also heard reports about Logan Ryan, but now the reports are really starting to heat up for Jadeveon Clowney. There's been multiple reports on CBS, on Bleeding Green Nation, a bunch of different sources saying the Eagles are showing interest. Now, as I dug deeper into this interest, I think the Eagles are showing interest because Howie Roseman is always going to be aggressive when it comes to the defensive line. That's just who he is. He loves to build his teams on the offensive line and the defensive line and then go from there. Because we all know as football fans, if you can protect the offense, running game and or passing game, it's going to do work. And if you can get pressure on the opposing quarterback, he's going to throw the ball to your DBs, to your secondaries, no matter who's back there. That's exactly how we won the Super Bowl in 2018 with Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby back there. But let's get into Jadeveon Clowney. Before I give you my opinion on should the Eagles sign him and what is he asking and all that good stuff, let's take a look at his stats in the last 3 years. Let's see what this guy's been doing when he was with the Seattle Seahawks and the Houston Texans. Let's talk about the last 3 years of Jadeveon Clowney's stats when it comes to production. 2017, he played 16 games, 9.5 sacks, 59 combined tackles, 21 tackles for loss, 21 quarterback hits, and 2 forced fumbles. In 2018, 14 games, 9 sacks, 47 combined tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 21 quarterback hits, and 1 forced fumble. In 2019, 11 games, 3 sacks, 31 combined tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 13 quarterback hits, and 4 forced fumbles. As you can see, Jadeveon Clowney was more productive in 17 and 18 with the Houston Texans than he was in 2019 with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, there's a lot of things that go into that, but the main one is health. He only played 11 games in 2019, and he was in and out. And in and out. He never got into the flow. Now, the Texans like to play a 3-4 defense, and so sometimes he rushes the passer in his stance. Sometimes he's a stand-up outside linebacker that rushes the passer. Sometimes they send him on stunts and everything. I think he did that more with Houston, being a 3-4, than he did with Seattle, who play a 4-3 like the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I remember the trade, Texans trading Jadeveon Clowney to the Seattle Seahawks. I thought Clowney was going to eat with the Seattle Seahawks defense because I always thought if you put Clowney in a 4-3 defense, let him get to his stance every play, he would be able to explode off the line of scrimmage in a multitude of ways. Just bull rush you, use his speed and athleticism to get past the left tackle or right tackle. I mean, he would be an animal as a sole defensive end in a 4-3 scheme. Now, it didn't work last year, but again, the on and off the field and the lingering injuries. I don't like to make excuses for players. If you suit up, you got to play. Simple and plain. But when you got to look at a player that you're possibly going to sign, you have to look at all aspects at that point because you want to know if you're really getting this version or this version. Now, the biggest thing that comes to my mind when I hear Clowney is he wanted $20+ million. I didn't even think about taking Jadeveon Clowney when you talked about that money. Now, I think he got it as low as 16.5 million, maybe 15 million. Now you're starting to open my ears on a 1-year deal because it's a prove-it deal. And he said he was down for a prove-it deal because he still thinks highly of himself. And why not? I mean, this dude was a first-round pick, first overall pick in 2014. And there was a reason behind it because he can play when he's on the field and healthy. Now, I know a lot of Eagle fans are going to say, why would we think about signing Jadeveon Clowney after the whole last year incident? I'm talking about the cheap shot he did to Carson Wentz, getting him concussed, and then going and saying Eagle fans are horrible. Well, let's talk about the whole thing. I myself said that that was a cheap shot. It was. No way you can cut it. It was a cheap shot. But as you think about the game of football, it's a game of inches and a game of seconds. So you can't hesitate. It's not a think and react game. It's a react type of game. So he reacted and it caused a cheap shot. And again, I'm not giving him a pass for it. He knocked my quarterback out in an illegal hit. It's simple. But I think Carson Wentz knows how football's played and all the things that come with it. And I'm thinking he would be able to look at him and say, it is what it is. Appreciate you on the team. Now I need you to have that same energy on the other 31 quarterbacks when we play against them. Get your numbers up. As for the comments he said about the Eagle fans being horrible, well, in his shoes, we were bashing him so much, rightfully so, for what he did to Carson Wentz that what could he say? Anything but we're horrible. But again, we love our players intensely and we hate other players intensely. That's just what we do as Philly fans. We either all in with love or all in with hate. There's really no in between as a Philadelphia Eagle fan. Now, to get back to the money thing, if we could get Jadeveon Clowney for 13 through 15 million or 13 through 16 million for a 1-year prove-it deal, I think I would do it. We just picked up Derek Barnett's 5th-year option. So what are we going to do with him next year? And also, Brandon Graham is scheduled to be an Eagle in 2021. He's getting older. This guy can still play. BG is my guy. He can play inside, outside. He had a pretty dang good year last year, and I want to see him play. But we know he is getting older. So what are we going to do when BG gets older? If Derek Barnett does not perform this year, who I think is going to have a breakout year, to be honest. But if Derek Barnett does not perform up to par, if BG starts to really get older and start to lose a little bit or need some more snaps off, if we have Jadeveon Clowney, he could help both sides, both players, still get the best out of them. It also gives us some advantage too. If Derek Barnett is not good, we now sign Jadeveon Clowney to the long-term deal. If Brandon Graham is getting old or something happens, we sign Jadeveon Clowney to the long-term deal. If BG still does what he does and Derek Barnett takes that step and shows us why he was a first-round rookie, then we might say, okay, Jadeveon Clowney, you had your 1-year deal. We ain't going to take you on and we're going to let you go. But again, we have a lot of talent on this team. The defense is looking really good with Big Play Slay. Fletcher Cox going to be healthy. Javon Hargrave, Nickel Roby-Coleman, all the additions, Will Parks, everything that was done to the secondary, to the defensive line. If you get a guy like Jadeveon Clowney and he gets the production that I know he can get when fully healthy, which he did say, whoever signs me is going to get the best version of me. It's been a long time I've been this healthy. He just got that sports hernia surgery, and maybe that's been lingering even longer than we even think. And so he really feels this is going to be his most healthy season. So if it's more than $15 million for this 1 year, no way, Jose, I cannot do it. But I would consider Jadeveon Clowney on a 1-year prove-it deal for around 15 or less, and then you can really use that as leverage. Is Barnett going to take the next step? If not, we figure out Barnett or Clowney. Is BG still able to do it? If not, Jadeveon Clowney or BG. Again, I love Barnett and I love BG, and I think they're going to have great years by themselves. But this could be the leverage and the insurance policy that our defensive line doesn't have that. A couple injuries to the D-line and we're in the same spot as last year. So this could be an insurance policy and a leverage play to someone like a 5th-year option Derek Barnett and an aging Brandon Graham. So when it comes down to it, I think the Eagles showing interest is a good thing. I think Howie Roseman will work out the numbers and only sign him or bring him if it's going to benefit the Eagles, because like I said before, I do think Derek Barnett and Brandon Graham are going to be able to perform. So while my answer is yes, I probably would take him if we can get him for that price, 15-ish million. I don't think the Eagles are going to do it. So all this being said, I believe the Eagles are interested in him, but I don't believe the Eagles will do it. I think he's going to find another suitor. I think the fact that the Eagles are interested and how we love to sign defensive ends, it's going to make other teams jump quicker. And I just don't think the Eagles would do it. Would I be okay with it? Like I said, I think it would be a good deal. I think it would help our defense. And yes, am I still upset about the Carson Wentz hit? Yes, but they're both grown, man. I think they'll be able to coexist together and get the job done. At the end of the day, it's about winning football games, and just imagine an extra body on the D-line that's that good, and a guy who can start as a rotational player and or a starter. Whoever is not starting is going to come in a lot fresher and get a lot more production when he is in, whoever it is. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching and all the constant support. Appreciate you guys 100%. Don't forget to smash that like button. It really helps me out. And let me know in the comment section, would you guys sign Jadeveon Clowney? Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are, because I love all your takes. You know what time it is. We out.